So I'm standing here messing with these chickens. Took the big ones and put them in there. But I'm looking at this little guy right here, and I can't get over just how freaking small he is. Look at that. Look at how small he is. It's just so stinking tiny. Come on, guy. There we go. Oops. He wants his friends to pick on him. So I'm looking at this one chicken here who has her wings all spread out, and I'll grab her real quick. This one. So you notice that wing spread out, and she's spreading it for me pretty readily here. That's what she said. So if you look at the feather pattern, you can see pretty clearly there's 2 rows of feathers. And I'm not talking about, you know, the row that I'm trying to do this one-handed, I'm sorry. So you'll see that there's a row here, and then there's a row that the feathers are sticking out separately, kind of like a toothy smile, you know, where people are missing teeth, this row down here. So what that indicates is that this is definitely a female. And, you know, some people may say that that only happens on, you know, white feathered birds and all that stuff, but majority seems to be that the females that are pullets, known pullets, seem to have these 2 separate, distinct layers of feathers here. You have the primary and then the secondary, or maybe it's the primary then the secondary, I don't know, but they are very distinct, whereas the males tend to be all one length between these 2 here. So you can, you know, you go to Tractor Supply and you can kind of look at them if they're feathered out instead of day olds, like some of these little guys here. You know, these are a little bit more difficult, but this is easier to see. See how there's 2 very distinct rows? So this ought to be a female, because the feathers here, you won't have the 2 rows vertically on the wing. They'll all be the same length. They'll all be like down here, and that would be a male. So this should be a female. Maybe. I don't know. They should all be the same. But I'm seeing some white ones in there, and I'm hoping they're not like Cornish rock or something like that, because then I'm going to have to eat them. The reality is, if they're Cornish rock, that means their cross is meant to be, or meant to grow as quickly as possible on the feed that they have, and become meat. If you keep them longer, they start to develop issues with their hearts, and you know, eventually die. So really the best thing you can do for, you know, Cornish rock, if that's what they are, is realistically slaughter them, because they get so fat so quickly that they're in pain. They're suffering while they're alive. They're meant to be, you know, they're meant to be eaten. Us humans, we really mess with some birds here. The 1950s was one of those times prosperous growth was the main driving factor in the USA, and we got this kind of stuff, the weird hybrids, if that's what they are. So anyway, I wanted to show you that little guy there. I just think he's stupid cute. You know, he's acting like these other chicks are his mother, just because he's so tiny and they're so big compared to him. So he had his wings stepped on. He just gets bullied around, but yeah, that makes him tougher, right? Maybe. The other one's right there. And I'm not sure where the third one is, since he's the same color as the rest of these. There he is, right there. See that little spot on his head? Looks like the same color as the rest, but he's right there next to that whiter chicken. And that black one's buried back there. Anyway, see ya.